The psychology of a child who grew up too fast. Some children don't lose their childhood suddenly. They outgrow it quietly, not because they wanted to, but because at some point they notice something other kids don't usually notice. Someone has to be responsible here. And for some reason, it's you. If that line hits a little too close, there's something I want you to hear early. You weren't born serious. You weren't too intense. And you weren't broken. You adapted. Number one, when responsibility becomes your personality, psychology has a name for one common version of this: parentification, a role reversal where a child takes on responsibilities that aren't developmentally appropriate. Sometimes it's practical: cooking, managing siblings, handling adult tasks. Sometimes it's emotional: being the listener, the mediator, the calm one, the one who absorbs the household mood. And yes, on the outside, it can look like maturity. But the cost is subtle. Your needs get treated like extra. And over time, you learn to live as if needing anything is a kind of inconvenience. Number two, your brain didn't choose this, it learned it. When stress is frequent, intense, and there isn't consistent support to bring you back to calm, the stress response can stay activated longer than it's meant to. This is sometimes described as toxic stress, prolonged activation of stress systems without the buffering effect of supportive relationships. Source. So the child who grows up too fast often becomes a child who grows up alert, not dramatic, not always visibly anxious, just always scanning, always calculating, always bracing for what could go wrong next. That's not overthinking. That's a nervous system trained to prevent collapse. 3. The survival traits that people praise often come from pressure. If you grew up too fast, you may recognize these patterns not as symptoms, but as things you've always done. A. Survival independence to hyper-independence. You learned early that help is unreliable or comes with strings, so you stop asking. You become capable, efficient, self-contained. But deep down, part of you isn't empowered, it's resigned, because relying on anyone feels like risk. B. Split maturity. You can be emotionally intelligent about other people, but strangely unsure about yourself. You might understand everyone's psychology, yet struggle to name what you feel in real time. Because as a kid, feelings didn't solve problems. Responsibility did. C. Uneasy rest. For a lot of people who grew up under chronic stress, relaxation can feel unfamiliar, even unsafe. Trauma-informed literature describes hyperarousal/hypervigilance as the body staying prepared, often showing up as sleep issues, tension, and an easily triggered startle response. Even long after the danger has passed, so when life finally gets quiet, you don't feel peace. You feel exposed, like something is supposed to happen. D. Guilt for needing. When you were the strong one, your needs may have felt like a threat to the system. So even now, support can trigger guilt. I'm too much. I should handle it. Other people have it worse. But that guilt isn't humility. It's conditioning. E. Guarded empathy. You can read people fast. You sense shifts in tone, micro expressions, energy. That sensitivity can be a strength. But it can also be armor. Because if you detect the emotional weather early enough, maybe you can keep the storm from starting. 4. The turning point. You are not flawed. You are adapted. Here's the reframe most people miss. Psychology doesn't look at you and say, you're broken. It often says, your system learned what it had to learn to survive. And that matters. Because it means your traits, your seriousness, your control, your distance, your independence might not be your identity. They might be your history. 5. Healing doesn't mean becoming helpless. It means becoming safe. Healing for the child who grew up too fast isn't about losing strength. It's about learning a new skill, letting your body believe that support can exist without danger, and that rest doesn't have to be earned through exhaustion. And maybe, for the first time, asking a different question: if you didn't have to hold everything together, who would you be? So let me leave you with this. Are you still carrying a weight that was never meant for a child?